Cobra will be converging upon your town July 1st, 2023. Are you ready for Cobra? Because Cobra is ready for you. Ha ha! Cobra! Hey G.I. Joe fans, Joe Motion Videos 82 here. It is time for my contribution to Cobra Convergence 7. I hope you caught Cujo's show this morning. It was pretty good. He discussed the Cobra Viper, and he showed a very cool version of Cobra Viper that was done by Black Major. It was the Boba Fett Cobra Viper. So head on over to his channel, Cujo, to check him out. Today on my channel, we are going to be looking at the 1984 Cobra Rattler. 84 was the year for Cobra. They didn't have much going for them as far as men and vehicles. 1982, they just had the Missile Command Center, while G.I. Joe had the Flak, the HAL, the Jump, the Mobat, the Vamp, the MMS, and the Ram Cycle. I would say they were a bit outnumbered. 1983 came around, and Cobra got the Fang, the Viper Glider, and the Snake Armor. And what did G.I. Joe have? They had the Wolverine, the Sky Striker, the Pack Rats, the Polar Battle Bear. They had Jump version 2 that came with the silver padded Grunt. They had the G.I. Joe Command Headquarters. They had Dragonfly, the APC, and again, they were outnumbered, but we were expected to buy the Fang, the Falcon Glider, and the Hiss, and the Snake Armor, or the Viper Glider, sorry, and the Snake Armor as in multiples to army builds. Sorry, Cobra didn't have the Pack Rats. That was my fault in general. That was G.I. Joe if I had said it was Cobra. But I believe I did say it was G.I. Joe, so never mind. So Cobra was still pretty much outnumbered. But 1984 rolls around, and they get, if I could get it to pop up here, Zartan gets introduced. They get the Asp, the Cobra Claw. They get the Water Moccasin. They get the Rattler, and they also get the Stinger. So things are really looking up for Cobra that year. They also got the Baroness, I believe, Firefly, Scrap Iron. So things were really starting to pop up for Cobra that year. So we're looking at the Rattler. So when it was released that year, it came along it came with the pilot Wild Weasel, and we know that Cobra very seldom has a character with its own name. They had Firefly with his own name. They had Scrap Iron with his own name. Of course, Baroness, Cobra Commander, Destro with their own names. Copperhead, Wild Weasel is another, as I aforementioned. So it's very rare when they get a Cobra figure with its own name. They're normally just an indiscreet figure, as a Viper, Televiper, so on and so forth. So they're meant to be army built. So Wild Weasel was his own guy. This was on the shelves until 1986. So this was around for 2 years to give everybody a good chance to buy this. Let's see what else. Parts on this that are easily lost and broken, and I'll discuss this more as we're talking about the toy. The rear landing gear is extremely fragile, so it says handle with care. This is on yojo.com. And the turret hinges are susceptible to breaking. It also made its first Marvel comic appearance in issue number 13. So I'll pull up pictures of that along with the box art. So in the cartoons, prior to 1984, Cobra just had these weird looking jets. They did have an Air Force, but they didn't have a specific looking Air Force until the Rattler came around, and this was modeled after the A-10 Thunderbolt. This was the original retail price of $9.90. So let me pull up pictures of the box art for you, as well as the comic book cover for you. So stand by. And that is some amazing box art that they came up with. If that did not sell the toy, I don't know what would. The action in that box art is amazing. It shows a Cobra trooper in the back firing the rear machine gun from the turret, Wild Weasel up in the cockpit. The box art was beautiful back then. It was worth saving, but my parents, as well as most parents, they threw that out. They saw it as worthless. Oh, it's just a box, throw it out. There are some parents or some kids that did hold on to the boxes, and nowadays they're worth a pretty penny. The year of '84 was, I call it the year of Cobra. They came out with some very iconic vehicles, as I was naming them off. The water moccasin, very popular amongst collectors. Of course, the Rattler is very popular amongst the collectors. And the Stinger is very popular amongst collectors. And for me, I put Stinger at the top of the list too, as far as the best vehicles of 1984. It's just a beautiful vehicle. Jet black, gray doors with red missiles. It's eye-catching. And when I reviewed that, I shared my childhood memories of it when I saw it, and I was just mesmerized by this. And my memories of this, I had a few friends that had this. I never had it as a child, that received it for Christmas that year. And we had a great time with them. They were outside playing with them, flying them around, and we had some pretty good battles with them in the yard. And then I'd go over to a friend's house and we'd play G.I. Joe. Of course, the Rattler came out, and I thought it was so cool that it had interchangeable side panels. And $9.90 was kind of a chunk of change back then, but not too expensive to be unaffordable. Like the Mobat was, you know, retailing for $19.99. That was a lot of money for a vehicle. Of course, it was motorized, so it was very expensive, and on top of the batteries. And you know, the kids wore the batteries out the same day they got it, and the parents are like, I'm not paying for more batteries to put in that thing. Those batteries themselves are expensive. So the Rattler, I fell in love with it the day I saw it, and now I'm proud to finally have one in my own collection. I don't have the file card, so I won't be reading that. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Rattler. A lot of parts to this thing. So this was quite a feat to put together for some people, as I had bought my Tiger Rat that was incomplete. I bought that built on a budget kind of thing. I bought the main body of it, which was mostly complete, for pennies on the dollar, and I bought the parts little by little, and ended up coming in way under what it was selling for on eBay after I tallied up all the prices that I paid for parts and shipping. That's why I call it build on a budget. And having to put that thing together strictly from memory, it's an undertaking. And with that one, I got a little anxious and wanted to put the landing gear down, and bam, snapped the front landing gear off. That is a design flaw that still exists today. When I reviewed the Toys R Us exclusive Rattler, the copper Rattler, that you could look through my videos for that review, I did not operate the landing gears on that because it is the same flaw in the design. They are too thin, and they are set in there too tight, and they do break off. And I couldn't resist the temptation on this one. When it came in the box, I was wanting, when it was shipped to me, I was wanting to display it on the landing gears, and every bit of my soul said, Byron, don't lower the landing gears, just set it on the missiles and leave it as is. Don't touch the landing gears. And guess what? Byron touched the landing gears and snapped one off. So if you're a collector and you have this and you're thinking about touching the landing gears, or if you don't have one and you're thinking about buying a Rattler, a Tiger Rat, or anything made from this mold, don't mess with the landing gears. If you put it together and you keep the gears down, leave them. When you put it together and you leave the gears up, leave them. Do not move them. Put them in the position you want to keep them in, and leave them. Word from the wise here, okay? Because I don't want you guys to snap it, break it off, and have to replace it, because they are very expensive on the aftermarket to replace. So it's just not worth it. Just leave it as is. So let's go ahead and take a look at this beautiful bird. I just love this jet. Trying to get everything in frame here. I was going to shoot this outside, but it is way too hot. Let's take a look at the pilot first. Wild Weasel. Oh, he really stands out. Very cool action figure. I really love the design on him. The helmet I always found to be a little bit too big. Since he's pre-1985, he just has this swivel head. But that is quite alright. Even though he was released through 1986, he still had the swivel head. Like the ASP driver, or the HISS driver, he's clad in red, which definitely goes well with the blue. The red plastic does tend to get fragile over the years, so watch out for anything breaking on this. But otherwise, it's a good looking figure. He has the Cobra emblem here on his arm. I have a very nice example of this. They didn't perfect the paint until 1985 or 86, so be careful. This paint does rub off. He has a flight scarf on underneath his uniform. He does have a parachute harness on, but no parachute. He has pouches here on the front of his flight suit. He has 2 belts that sling around. A pouch there on his right side, nothing on his left. He does have a pistol sculpted on his right leg. He has maps down on his legs, which I always found to be really cool. This one looks like a calculator as well. Very cool design on that. And he has a knife down on his left leg, and his black boots. This very big helmet with a black visor, and I'm not sure what this is around the sides of the helmets, the side of the helmet. But this right here is supposed to be a visor that goes down over the front, but that just makes the helmet look all the much cooler. Very nice sculpt on this figure. So the Rattler itself has a cockpit with a bubble dome. Pops open and the figure will just slide right on in. You can see down on the inside it has some very minor detail in it, not too much. Not bad at all though. The cockpit does close. You see the Cobra Air Force sticker there on the side. It has a Gatling gun here on the front, which does turn with the help of your fingers, because it does have this limited space here. Has a rotation device on there. Here are the landing gears. So you can see how thin that post is if I get it to come in, so do not touch it. Let's see, looking at the top here, it has these removable engine covers to expose the engine. The back part and the intake do come out. This is 3 separate pieces. Here is the gunner's turret. It does open up, and this is where I keep the spare parts, the battle damage panels. If I could, the spare landing gear, because I did break the landing gear off. And this other panel just does not want to come out for some reason. Let me pause this. 5 minutes later, I was able to get it out. Didn't get that dusted off as well as I had hoped. Okay, so the turret does open, so you could sit an action figure in there. It has this rear gun on it, and the turret does, if you get the canopy locked down, the turret does rotate 360 degrees to give the Rattler more support. That's a really fun play feature on it. The wings do fold up. This is a VTOL, vertical takeoff and landing, so it will, the wings will rotate to give it that nice little play feature. Here on the back is the rear engine, the rear jet, and the forward intake, all done in silver plastic. And the bottom comes with several missiles. There's 2 missiles there. It comes with this bomb rack with 3 bombs on it. It comes with a 2-stage missile that fits on with a drum peg. It slots right on there. The front part of the missile does come off. It's done up in it's in rubber. I do apologize for lack of space here. It's two more bombs, and on the other side it has the duplicate missiles with the Cobra Air Corps sticker on there, and the bombs and missiles as well. And you could see right there where the landing gear had broken off on that very small peg or attachment. That is a huge flaw on Hasbro's part. If they would have widened that a little bit more, I think it would have been a lot better, because that's too much leverage on this. See, that one comes out easy, thank goodness. It's too much leverage for that one little peg, so it snaps off very easily. Now the side panel right here does come off, so you could pop these panels on. Has a little slot here that fits in to give it battle damage, and there's one here on the back as well that comes off to reveal some engine detail, and this one does the same thing, slots right on there for more battle damage. Very cool play feature on that. I really love that feature. They put their heads together and gave you more bang for your buck with this. I do enjoy it. This is a beautiful aircraft. You could see on this one, when I had bought it, you could see the stress marks on it from the individual that had taken theirs apart to sell the pieces. You could see the stress from it being used, and that's really concerning. In order for me to put this one back onto my vehicle, I would have to take it apart to put this on there, and I really don't feel like doing that, so I have it to make it complete, and someday when I have the courage, I'll take it apart and put this one on it. But you can see the tires are made of rubber. It does say Cobra on it, 710A, and it has more tire size on there. The wheel does turn. I like the rubber tires. It adds more to the authenticity of it. But there's a lot of play value to this vehicle. So finally, Cobra had something to face G.I. Joe in the air war with their Sky Striker. And I really think it was unfair with Hasbro giving so much to G.I. Joe and so little to Cobra. But in my humble opinion, I think they were slow about getting these things, more toys put into production, because they weren't sure how the toy line was going to take off. And if I remember right, they were just wanting it to be G.I. Joe, just the good guys. And it was somebody, I think it Larry Hama, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm going from memory from other reviewers, that said they need a nemesis, they need somebody to go against. So that's when Cobra came about. And they didn't even have a leader when they first came out. You know, they just had the Cobra officer, so he was the leader, then the Cobra trooper, and you were supposed to army build those, and they were still outnumbered. There was just 2 against 13. So when we played, it was, those guys were immortal. You'd shoot him and he'd stand back up and continue to fight, pretending he was another guy. And then Cobra Commander was a mail away, and then eventually he came with came on the pegs carded, if you didn't have the Sears exclusive Cobra Command Center, which came with a bunch of action figures. But that was a Sears exclusive, and we all know how rare those things are. So tell me what your memories are of this. If you have it, if you had it, if you know anybody that had it growing up, please share that in the comments. I really love to hear what your stories are. And I want to hear about your landing gear stories. And if you have any tips on how to make them move without breaking them off, I would love to know. That's pretty... that's the bane of everybody's existence with this style of vehicle. So let's go ahead and get into my favorite segment of Byron's Gripes. For those of you just joining, thank you very much for tuning in, and thank you for subscribing to this channel. If you haven't done so yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's absolutely free to hit the subscribe button. And don't forget to tap the notification bell. That way you'll know when I upload a new video. I get these out every week, and if I don't, I will give you guys a heads up that, hey, I will not have a video out this week. You guys deserve that much for being so... You guys deserve it, just plain and simple, to know if I'm going to have a video or not. Next week will be the drawing for my 700 subscriber giveaway, so stay tuned for that. So anyway, when I do Byron's Gripes, it's a means of entertainment, also education, give you an idea of what to look for on the aftermarket if you're new at shopping for G.I. Joe on the aftermarket, if you're just getting back into collecting, or if you're a new collector. Gives you an idea of what to expect. Everybody's budget is different, so this is just all based on my opinion. I use eBay just for a reference. That is it. There are many other sites out there that sell G.I. Joe, but I use eBay just for the reference. I don't pick on eBay. I don't pick on the sellers. I do make fun of some of the outlandish prices. Some people see G.I. Joe and they think it's worth a fortune. Right now, vintage toys are really hot, especially G.I. Joe, so of course the price points are going to be up there really high. I do encourage you to shop at your local vintage toy store. Help out a neighbor. You will get better prices there than you will on a website, and you don't have to pay for shipping. So there you go. So looking at the Rattler here, the bomb rack, $5.95. The small missile, $1.49. Here is one that is complete with Wild Weasel, $225. Here is one incomplete without the pilot, $132.14. Here is one that is missing a lot of parts, $32.50. That will definitely be a good start for build on the budget. Wild Weasel, oh, this is deal of the day, $14.95 or better offer. Here is that's auction. I very seldom quote auction prices. That unless it's the auction just ended and the price is set, and I'll tell you what it sold for. The blueprint, $16. Here's another one complete for $150. The two-part missile, the one that fly buzzing around here, the one that comes with the rubber tip that comes off, both of those $7.49. Here are Rattler parts. It's a lot for $90. Here's the front canopy, $13.46. His file card, $15. Here's some more parts, $63. Here's a complete set of bombs and missiles for $39.90. So there you go with your build on the budget. You're already ahead of everything. Here's one that's mostly complete. Okay, another build on the budget, $89.99. I'll put that up with deal of the day. Here's one, looks like it is complete, $125. Let's check this one out. It says it's $18. Rattler, oh, replacement canopy. That one looks like it was done on a 3D printer, so that's $18. Here's one that's just the shell of the airplane, $49.99. Here's a really badly damaged canopy. Looks like somebody tried to customize it. They put a bunch of holes in it and put red paint on it, and they want $45 for it. Make it look like the pilot got shot. I don't think so. No, I really don't think so. Here's some more parts. It looks like some bombs and missiles, engine parts, $15. Here's a bomb, $2.29. The back part of the two-stage missile, $2.29. Here's just the bare bones of the aircraft, $49.99. Here's one complete, $185, but they want $108 in shipping. No way. I would not pay $108 to have that thing shipped to me, because you'll still end up paying over $200 for it. You might as well pay the $225 and get free shipping on it. Here is the rear landing gear, $6.99. I'll put that up with deal of the day. Here's the Gatling gun. Oh, that's up for bid. Never mind. Here's a file card. That's up for auction. The engine covers $17.90. The rear fins, stabilizing fins, $12.90. Here's the side panel, $3.99. All three landing gears. One is broken. Why would I want to buy a broken landing gear? $29.99. Here's the rear turret with the gun and canopy, $19.90. Another one that Rattler incomplete, that's up for auction. Here's one that is complete, $125, deal of the day. Another one, oh, they're selling a lot of skeletonized ones here. $49.99. Here's a complete engine, $20. Here looks like a full set of missiles with the panels, $20. Rear landing gear, $22. Front landing gear, $28. Here's a complete one, $125. Another complete one, $124. Another landing gear, $29. So this goes on and on and on. Mostly parts are being sold here. Oh, here we go. Here's the Wild Weasel with a file card, $100. I think not. Please. I'm not going to pay $100. Oh, and $69.60 for shipping. That is greedy. Greed. No thank you. And there are no watchers on that one. It's not even an AFA grade on that. So no. Yeah, there's just part after part after part. People are cannibalizing these and selling the parts. Here's a Wild Weasel with the file card, $21.50. Wild Weasel by himself, $23.99. I bought this Wild Weasel at a toy store, a vintage toy store, for $10. Here's one for $16, Wild Weasel. Yeah, it's just a lot of cannibalizing here. So these parts are not hard to find, so you buy the skeletonized frame and definitely build on a budget with this one. That would be what I would highly recommend, but watch the shipping and, you know, go by the highest price of what it's selling for complete and try to come in under budget on that one, but mind the shipping, because that'll get you. And it could be done. You just have to be patient. It took me a few months to complete my tiger rat, because I was being a Wild Weasel that is just beat to heck. Wow, $55? I don't think so. Yeah, this goes on and on, so I'm not going to take up any more of your time with this. So this vehicle by no means is rare. So if you want to build this on your own and try to save money, definitely do it. But you know, patience is key on that. Watch your prices, and you could definitely do it. You can. Like I said, I did it, and I came in way under what it was retailing for, and or aftermarket price. I don't say retail because I don't really consider eBay as a retail store. Come in under eBay prices. So definitely pick one of these up if you don't have one. I know they're a bit pricey, but check your vintage toy stores out for this. Flea markets, you might get lucky. Thrift stores, things like that. Go to conventions, you could also find them there very easily as well. So this is it. it was a very popular airplane. Tens of thousands were made. It was on the aftermarket. It was on the market for 2 years. So, I mean, it's not rare, guys, by any means, but it is extremely popular. So anyway, thank you guys very much for tuning in. Thank you for participating in Cobra Convergence and Cobra Hoodie Coco. Thank you very much for inviting me back again for Cobra Convergence 7. I enjoy participating in this. This is a lot of fun. Don't forget to check out Cujo and the other participants. Go to hcc788.com for a schedule for the upcoming reviewers, and also a way to participate in Cobra Convergence as well. So this is Joe Motion Videos 82 signing off until next week. And remember, be kind to everybody. You never know what kind of day someone's having. Be kind to yourselves, and also be kind to animals. I know nothing but unconditional love. So we'll see you next week, and don't forget about the giveaway. Is all you have to do is be a subscriber to be entered into the giveaway. So I'll be giving away a Ram Cycle and a 1983 APC. So there you have it. Some good prizes will be given away. We'll talk to you later. Bye bye.